This episode is sponsored by Plod AI. We've all been there. You're days away from a deadline and you remember a brilliant idea from a brainstorming session, but you can't find it in your notes. It's frustrating, confusing, and frankly, a waste of time. Recently, I've integrated Plod AI, that's P-L-A-U-D, into my daily workflow, and it's a game changer for staying organized. Plod isn't just an app, it's a hardware-software powerhouse. I use the Note Pro for phone calls, Note Pen for my in-person meetings, and the new Plod desktop app for all my virtual sessions. With one click, it records everything and generates an accurate, searchable transcript. But the real magic is the Ask Plod feature. I can literally ask questions about a meeting from 3 weeks ago and get an instant answer. It turns every conversation into a searchable asset for me and my team. Stop taking notes and focus. Turn your meetings into actionable insights with the world's most advanced AI note taker. Learn more at plod.ai. That's Plaud.ai. And use the promo code CODESTORY, all one word, to get 10% off your purchase.
One of the things that I think we all take for granted in this world of working with AI coding assistants is that there is always going to be some AI coding assistant available. And so we've built our on-call process very much around the fact that you can leverage Kilo to do things for you. We've had that process in place for a while. It's been working really well. And then a couple weeks ago, we had an incident where Kilo was down. And so our whole on-call process is predicated on Kilo being up. My name's Emilie Schario. I'm co-founder and I lead product and engineering at Kilo.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do
took
next.
many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve more.
Most proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was
Yes, we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it.
It's not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Labpart, and today how Emilie Schario has built the best way to code with AI. Fully open source and open model, sans breaking the bank. Today's episode is brought to you by .tech Domains, and this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, I was building my startup and went hunting for that perfect .com and found next to nothing. So I did what every founder does, settled. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You're building a tech startup, just get a .tech domain. It instantly tells investors and customers what you're about. Don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If your team is collecting large volumes of logs, metrics, and traces, but still struggling to get timely answers, Mesmo can help. Mesmo is an active telemetry platform that processes and enriches observability data in real time before it's stored or analyzed. That means lower data volume, lower cost, and faster root cause analysis across your existing observability tools. To see how it works, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's MEZMO.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. If you are building with AI coding tools, but your features keep breaking, you need to check out BrainGrid. It is the product management agent for AI builders. BrainGrid turns messy ideas into clear specs, tasks, and prompts that coding agents like Cursor and Claude can actually build the right way. Ship real software, not fragile prototypes. Start free at braingrid.ai. Emilie Schario grew up in New Jersey outside of Newark and attended college in the state. Currently, she lives in Columbus, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. She mentioned she got into technology so she could easily follow her husband's career geographically, and has had much success in the industry. But outside of tech, she's married with 3 boys, all 5 and under, so there's a lot of wrestling in her household. She admits she is often quoted saying she does 3 things in her life: work, parenting, and if she's lucky, attends CrossFit 3 times a week. In fact, she finds a great sense of community in that world and brings her kids with her to cheer her on. A year and a half ago, Emilie's current venture was started to build the open source orchestrator, or harness, for AI coding agents. Through some shuffle in the early team, Emilie joined and started in building the fastest AI coding app on the market. This is the creation story of Kilo.
Kilo is the agentic engineering platform. So think of it like your favorite coding assistant. People are probably familiar with Codex or Claude Code. Kilo is very similar. It's the coding harness that you use to interact with AI models. The thing that really differentiates Kilo is what we call model freedom. So when you use a tool like Codex or Claude Code, you're using a software that's tied to a particular lab. So if you're using Claude Code, you can only use Anthropic models. If you're using Codex, you are using OpenAI models. When you're using Kilo, you have over 500 models available to you. So you can use models from OpenAI or Anthropic, but you can also use GLM or DeepSeek or Minimax or RC or Grok or any other models that are interesting to you. I think one of the things that we hear from our users over and over is that they want to be able to choose the right model for the task, and Kilo is one of the few ways that they can do that. Kilo was founded about a year and a half ago. Sid Sijbrandij, who was founder, and for a long time he was CEO at GitLab. Now he's executive chairman. He saw the opportunity to develop something in this space. The project got started with its then co-founder, JP Posma. JP had to step away, and then myself and Scott Brightenother came in to really usher the project forward. So about a year and a half old, globally distributed, team split across North America, South America, Europe, and Africa, and really just focus on building the best coding harness that we can.
So tell me about what you would consider the MVP for Kilo then, the first version of the product. Perhaps you came in to push the project forward. Tell me about that version, or maybe even the version before, and what sort of tools were used to bring it to life, and how long did it take to get it out?
Every day at Kilo is about figuring out what the MVP for a coding harness is, because this is an area where the measuring stick is definitely moving. What people expect from their coding tools in this AI era is changing. And I'll give you a really specific example, is that maybe 2 months ago, someone had a tweet go viral. Pete Steinberger, the founder of OpenClaw, had a tweet go viral that was like, if you're writing prompts, you're doing it wrong. We're all about loops now. And most tools did not have loops, I don't know, like a week after that. And now suddenly everyone has to support loops. And so it's constantly a moving target in this space that is truly evolving. The way I think about it, the first version is, can you give a prompt, and can that prompt lead to code changing? And now we're constantly working to not just build the best, but to make sure we have the things that make it possible for people to use Kilo every single day in and day out to do most of their work.
I'm interested in a decision or trade-off you had to make in the early days of joining and starting Kilo, of how the product was going to be shaped, right? And I hear that every day is about those MVP decisions, and I totally relate to that. I'm curious about maybe a key one you had to make that's become a pillar in how you've approached creating Kilo.
For a lot of the, let's say, second half of last year journey, we were really focused on broadening our ICP. So not just serving developers really well, but how do we serve all knowledge workers really well? And I don't think we've decided against that, but I do think we had to confront our limited resources against that goal and realize that we only have so many engineers. We can only tackle so many projects if we're going to do them well. So an example of a trade-off we had to make was around our Kilo app builder. Kilo app builder is something akin to Lovable or Bolt, if you're familiar with those. Really that prompt to hosted website or hosted app experience. And Kilo app builder was live. People built absolutely incredible things with it. But at some point, we had to decide that we could not invest in app builder the way we wanted to. So either we were going to continue to provide this subpar experience, or we were going to proactively decide that we were not going to do more on app builder right now. And so a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, time in AI is a very weird thing. But we decided we were going to make it no longer available to users who were unfamiliar with it. So kind of hid it from some of the marketing pages, and then we hid it in the app itself. So you couldn't find it if you weren't already a user. And that was our way of communicating that people who already have this as part of their workflow, you're going to be able to continue to use it. But people who don't yet have it as part of their workflow, we're not going to let you embed it into your workflow. And now the next part of that is, what do we do for these users who are using it? And I think we're making that decision now. So by the time this airs, we'll have broader communication. But I think it's likely that we work with them to sunset it. So we'll share information, communicate, help migrate these users over to something else, make sure everything is exportable. But when you're building a company, you only have so many resources, so much energy to go around. You have to be able to take lots of bets. And I'm really proud of the bets that we've taken. I think broadly speaking, we've made the right bets and they've paid off. But sometimes you also have to decide when you're going to stop investing in something. And this is an example of where we did that.
Today's episode is brought to you by .tech domains. And this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, when I was building my own tech startup, I went on the hunt for that elusive.com. Looked high, looked low, and guess what I found? Nothing. What I did find cost me an arm and a leg. So I did what every founder does under pressure. Threw in extra letters, settled for the less than optimal name. And here's what I wish someone had said to me back then. Noah, you're building a tech startup. Just get a .tech domain. Tech startup, .tech domain. It could not be more obvious. It tells investors, customers, and anyone who looks at your website, really, that tech is at the core of your build. And I've kicked myself plenty since. Especially when I see the clean and sharp names tech companies have landed on .tech. Nothing.tech, 1x.tech, Aurora.tech, CES.tech, Ultra.tech, Alice.tech, Neon.tech, Blaze.tech, Pi.tech. You get the idea. So take it from someone who learned it the hard way. If you're building a tech startup, don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. This episode is brought to you by Cash App. If you've been curious about Bitcoin but haven't made the jump yet, Cash App makes it easy. You can set up automatic purchases with zero fees or buy larger amounts, also with zero fees. Start small or go bigger. It's designed to be simple either way. For a limited time, new customers can get $10 added to their balance. Just use code CASHAPP10 when you sign up. And don't forget this part, send at least $5 to a friend in the first 2 weeks. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Bitcoin services provided by Block Inc. brand. For additional information, see the Bitcoin disclosures at cash.app/legal/podcast. Okay, let's move forward then. This will be in your bread and butter. I'm curious about how you've progressed and matured the product from even a year and a half ago, even not that long ago. And I'm curious about how you build your roadmap, how you go about deciding that, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address with Kilo.
It's a tricky balance because traditional, I'm doing air quotes right now, but traditional product management is one where you have these long, what's a 6-month plan? What's a year-long plan? What's a 5-year plan? And we don't really have any of that. When I'm thinking about what is the thing we're going to tackle, let's say next month, right? I'm factoring in what are the things that our enterprise customers are asking for, what are the things that will unblock a deal that's in the pipeline, also what are we hearing from our users, and then what does our team feel? And I think these are really good stakeholders to consider, because when I think about the next phase in product management, especially in this AI-driven world, it's not as much about project managing engineers. That part is going away. Engineers can do more than they've ever done before. The funnel is different now, and software engineering is no longer the bottleneck. That means engineers' job is going to change, and that means product managers' job is also going to change. So what a product manager needs to do, or whoever's setting that product vision, their number one priority is understanding what are the features that will build a business? What are the things that people are going to pay us for? So it's really important that we understand what our customers want and need, and what they need in order to buy and pay for Kilo. On the other side, we're also an open source and an open core product. Kilo Codebase itself is open source, and then the Kilo Cloud Codebase is source available. So that means that anyone can contribute to it. We are a developer-led community. We've got lots of folks in Discord every day who are active and sharing feedback, and we want to make sure their voices are heard. We are regularly considering their needs as well, and a lot of the developer features that we build come both from feedback from the community and pull requests from the community. And then we're also keeping an eye on what our competitors are doing. What are the other tools in the space shipping? Do we need to think about what our version of that feature might look like? Do we think it's a feature that's not going to take off, and so we can sit tight and wait a little bit? There's a combination of things that go into it, but we're also very much deciding what our own bets are and leaning into where we think the right strategic bets for the org are.
So I hear you saying we. Tell me about how you built your team, and what do you look for in those people to indicate that they are the winning horses to join you?
I will say I'm so proud of the team we've built at Kilo. We're about 35 people. I mentioned earlier that we're globally distributed. Just really so talented, and I'm really grateful for the team. We have a really high bar for hiring and for staying at Kilo, and I'm glad we do, because it makes it such a joy to be here. There's not politicking, there's none of the things that grate you down like the things that grate you down at a company with B players. When I think about the team, we're broadly split into two parts: product and engineering, which is led by me, and then go-to-market, which is led by my co-founder, Scott. Both sides of the org operate very similarly. We all have a daily stand-up. We're setting ambitious goals for tomorrow. We've got one product manager in the Kilo core side of the business who works across many core infrastructure, core to Kilo platform-like responsibilities. But all of our engineers are what I would call product engineers. So really focused on making sure that everyone has autonomy to make decisions and go quickly. And that works really well in our space, because the number one power users of Kilo are the people on the team who are using Kilo to build Kilo every day. On the other side of the house, we've got the go-to-market team, where we're structured as we've got one salesperson and then one customer experience lead who leads sales and support. We've also got a really talented bunch of DevRels who are just truly absolutely incredible, firing on all cylinders all the time, staying on top of model launches and partnerships with the labs, just incredible systems. And a really strong partnerships lead in Ari, who is regularly understanding what's coming, what models are coming, what do we need to do to best support the different model partners that we're working with. We're a small but mighty team, and one of my favorite pieces of feedback that I get is when people say something along the lines of, "Oh, I just assumed Kilo was a 150-person org," and then I get to tell them we're just a small fraction of that.
This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. Building with AI coding tools is exciting until the moment things start breaking. You ask for a small change, and suddenly 3 other features stop working. AI gets confused, misses edge cases, and loses track of your intent. The problem is not code generation. The problem is planning. That is why BrainGrid exists. BrainGrid acts as your product management agent. It writes clear specification, maps UX flows, asks the clarifying questions you forgot to ask, and breaks big ideas into engineering-grade tasks that AI coding tools can build reliably. It guides Cursor, Claude Code, Replit, Windsurf, and others so they deliver features that work and keep working. Founders use BrainGrid to build real AI-native SaaS products without a technical background. If you want reliable features instead of fragile prototypes, try BrainGrid for free at braingrid.ai. That's braingrid.ai. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If you're responsible for reliability, performance, or platform architecture, you already know the problem. Telemetry volume is growing faster than teams can manage it. Mesmo addresses this by moving observability upstream. Instead of storing everything and asking questions later, Mesmo processes telemetry in motion, filtering, transforming, and enriching logs, metrics, and traces before they reach your observability backend. The result is cleaner data, reduced ingestion costs, and faster root cause analysis using the tools you already rely on. Mesmo integrates with platforms like Datadog, Dynatrace, and open source stacks, giving teams more control without adding operational overhead. This is especially useful for platform engineers and SREs supporting complex distributed systems where context and speed matter. To see how active telemetry works in practice, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's mezmo.com/codestory. Let's move into scalability. And this will be interesting to hear where it comes about or where it was considered kind of in the early days. How did you approach it in the early days? I think what's most interesting to me is, have there been interesting areas where you've had to fight technological scale or team business scale, all the above, as you've grown?
One of the really nice things about working at Kilo is the seniority on our team. So the average engineer at Kilo has 15 years of professional experience, but the least experienced engineer at Kilo has 10 years of experience, which means that everyone on the team is just incredibly senior. They've all seen it before. And so a lot of the problems around scale or data structures that companies have as they grow, we're lucky enough to have folks who kind of saw some of these things coming, which is really great. And nothing in particular comes to mind, but I know that even with this very senior team, there's going to be ghouls and goblins just around the corner.
So as you step out on the balcony, you look across all that you've built thus far with Kilo, what are you most proud of?
There are lots of things I'm proud of. I'm proud of the product. I'm proud of the users who send us really incredible messages about how much the product makes a difference to their lives and to the work they're doing. But truly, the thing that I am most proud of at Kilo is the team that we have. And that's selfish because I've hired a lot of them, but this team is a joy to work with. I enjoy going to work every day. I think the thoughts and the insights we have and being able to have witty banter with folks around what kind of vacation is best. Is it an active one or a beach one? These are the things that I think make a real big difference when you get to go to work every day. When I talk to people, especially in the closing process of making someone an offer, I always say compensation it's your cash, it's your bonus, it's your equity. It's also how much do you want to come to work every day. And the thing that we've really nailed at Kilo is that these are the people that you want to be working with. And as much as I'm proud of what we're building, I'm super proud of this team.
Okay, let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
One of the things that I think we all take for granted in this world of working with AI coding assistants is that there is always going to be some AI coding assistant available. And so we've built our on-call process very much around the fact that you can leverage Kilo to do things for you. Have Kilo look at logs, or depending on the kind of incident, you can have Kilo spin up subagents to go identify some patterns or help identify what the root cause of a problem might be. We've had that process in place for a while. It's been working really well. And then a couple weeks ago, we had an incident where Kilo was down. And so our whole on-call process is predicated on Kilo being up. And so ultimately it was fine. We were able to figure it out. We did the same things we always do. Get people into a war room, hop on a call. There's an incident commander, call the incident. But we did realize we had to reflect on the actual incident process afterwards and say, how do we want to handle it in a world where Kilo itself is down and there's not a coding agent available? It's a little bit like, how do you handle it if Slack goes down? Like you take some of this infrastructure that's not like your product infrastructure, but your tooling for getting things done, you take it for granted.
This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Your coding agents have access to your code base. Maybe you even connected other tools via MCPs. But access doesn't mean context. Agents can't reason across MCPs. They don't know your architectural decisions, your team's patterns, or why the API was shaped the way it is. So agents look in the wrong place and deliver bad outputs. Then you spend time correcting. More loops, more tokens. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. Okay, Emilie, let's move forward then. This will be really exciting. What does the future look like for Kilo, for what you're building, for where the industry is going and moving so fast, for all the things? What does the future look like?
My crystal ball over here is a little bit cloudy, so I don't have a ton of great answers for you. But what I can say is that I think we're seeing people experiment with models more frequently, and that the future is definitely multi-model. The idea that you're going to only use one model for all your tasks doesn't make any sense to me. In a world where we've seen specialization be effective across people, why wouldn't we also expect our models to specialize? So the future is definitively multi-model, but what does being multi-model look like and how companies adjust to it? I'm still trying to add some Windex to my crystal ball, but I think that Kilo will be a part of that story.
Let's switch to you. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
I'm really lucky to have incredible co-founders in both Scott Brightonother and Sid Sibrandy. I worked with Sid at GitLab many years ago, and many of the kind of core working principles of mine came from watching him work and formulating my own opinions on what worked and what didn't. And so just truly grateful to have learned and worked with him and gotten the chance to work with him again. And then Scott, very similarly, Scott and I had known each other for a long time. When the Kilo opportunity came up, I tapped him on the shoulder and said, the text message I sent him was like, hey, can I pitch you on a crazy idea? And he was like, yeah, I want to hop on a call in a little bit. And I'm so glad we did. And it's one of those serendipitous things where right place, right time, right opportunity. And I really feel like we've gotten the chance to make magic over the last year. There's still a lot that I have to learn for sure, but I think I have the right people working with me all the time. I think there's lots of other people. I really enjoy the writing of Laura Vanderkam as I think about how I manage my time. There's a number of writing from Barbara Palmer that I really appreciate as I think about motherhood and working motherhood especially. So there's lots of people, but the two that I think drive the biggest difference day in and day out are definitely my co-founders, because they're probably who I spend the most time talking to, who I'm not also married to.
Okay, last question, Emily. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit several times?
My advice every time is a version of don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to do this. It's way harder than you think. Because if they're crazy enough to do it anyway, then they should probably do it. I think starting a company there's a lot out there that makes it look really quote unquote sexy and attractive. Like it's a credential you collect along the way. But it is stressful and heartbreaking and hard in a way most people will never understand. Lots of company executives out there, but they do not carry the stress of a CEO worried about money running out or how you're going to run payroll that week or any number of things. And so I'm always going to advise people, don't do it. And the crazy ones will do it anyway. And if they're not crazy enough to do it anyway, based on some advice a stranger on a plane gave them, they're probably not crazy enough to do it.
I really like that. Couldn't agree more. Emily, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of Kilo.
Thanks for having me.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.